first time you hunt alone, it's not the animals that test you, it's the decisions. When to move, when to stop, when to push deeper, and when to turn around. And here's something most hunters don't talk about. The bush feels very different when every choice is your own. Because confidence in solo hunting doesn't come from being fearless. It comes from learning how to make good decisions when nobody else is there to confirm them. And by the end of this video, I want to show you something most new solo hunters don't realize until much later. Confidence doesn't arrive all at once. It builds quietly, in ways most hunters miss completely. But first, let's talk about why anyone would want to choose to hunt alone at all, because the reason matters more than most people think. Solo hunting strips everything back. No conversation, no shared decision making, no relying on someone else to notice things you missed. At first, that can feel intimidating. But something interesting happens when you spend enough time out there alone. You start hearing the bush differently. You notice small changes in the wind. You start reading sign with more patience. You begin trusting your instincts, not because you want to, but because you have to. And this is where many hunters unknowingly take their biggest step forward. Not when they shoot their first animal solo, but when they realize they're comfortable making decisions without needing reassurance. Because solo hunting isn't about proving toughness, it's about learning responsibility. And later in the video, I'll show you why hunters who skip that responsibility stage often lose confidence very quickly when something small goes wrong. And that loss of confidence usually doesn't happen out there. It usually starts before the hunt even begins. Most solo hunting confidence is built in places that don't feel exciting. At home, at the truck, standing over your pack the night before. Because preparation removes uncertainty, and uncertainty is what creates panic when you're alone. Every small check you make now is one less decision you have to rush later. Tell someone where you're going, pack for one night longer than you plan, know your exit routes, not just your entry routes, and carry real communication equipment. Phones fail in the bush far more often than people admit. I learned this early on when I underestimated how quickly weather can shift. Nothing dramatic happened, but that quiet moment of realizing you're harder to reach than expected, that sticks with you. And it teaches you something incredibly valuable. Prepared hunters don't move differently because they're braver, they move differently because they're calmer. And calm decision making becomes incredibly important once you're actually moving through country, because this is where most solo hunters unknowingly create their own problems. When you hunt alone, your biggest advantage and your biggest risk is your mindset. You control your pace completely. But the bush rewards patience and quietly punishes rushing. Move slower than feels natural. Stop more often than feels necessary. Let the bush reveal information to you instead of chasing it. Something subtle happens when you do this. You stop reacting and you start predicting. And when hunters reach that stage, they often don't realize how much their confidence has already grown. But the real confidence shift usually shows up somewhere unexpected, and it rarely has anything to do with pulling the trigger. Confidence doesn't come from harvesting animals. It comes from stacking small wins most hunters overlook. Reading sign correctly, recognizing when animals are nearby before you see them, making the decision to back out when conditions aren't right. Some of the biggest confidence jumps I've had in solo hunting came from hunts where I never fired a shot, because I walked away knowing I understood the situation correctly. And later, those same decision skills are what make successful hunts repeatable instead of lucky. But there's one stage of solo hunting that surprises almost everyone, and it's where confidence either locks in permanently or disappears completely. Eventually, something shifts in solo hunting. The quiet stops feeling heavy and starts feeling earned. You stop second guessing every second. You stop rushing decisions. But this calm doesn't come from pushing limits. It comes from understanding them clearly. Experienced solo hunters aren't confident because nothing scares them. They're confident because they know exactly how they'll respond when something does. And once you reach that stage, solo hunting becomes one of the most rewarding experiences hunting can offer. Remember, solo hunting was never about the animals testing you. It was always about the decisions. Start small, start safe. Let confidence grow one good decision at a time. Because eventually, those decisions stop feeling stressful and start feeling instinctive. If this helped you, check out my other videos on building safe and effective hunting skills. And as always, keep chasing progress, not perfection.